Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't made a video in a couple days, so I thought I would try to make one tonight. And the topic I'd like to do is kind of a new topic. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but it's about late night hosts, late night, yeah, TV hosts, and a comparison between them. And I want to first start off with a little bit of a thing I saw on Jimmy Fallon last night that was it talked about the moment uh, that Jimmy Fallon kind of caved into his bosses and into the pressure from NBC and lost his manhood. Uh, it was so obvious. It was a couple of years ago, I guess, when. Anyways, you can find the on YouTube video. I can't remember if it was before Trump was elected or after he was elected, but he was cutting it up. He liked Jimmy Fallon's a nice guy, talented with all his impressions and as a musician. I'm not a fond of his interviews, but um, he's a nice guy, and he was cutting it up with President Trump on his show, right? And he ended up. Anyways, he was cutting it up. They were obviously enjoying each other, but then he did a weird, like, kind of a head rub and kind of made me feel awkward just watching it. But anyways, apparently Jimmy Fallon got called in on the carpet over that at NBC because he legitimized President Trump. What? He was too nice to him? Strange thing. This is how the left operates. You get in trouble for being a nice guy because you legitimize it. If you're not shouting it down, cutting it down, trying to discredit it, or whatever, you're justifying it, and that is unacceptable in the world of left politics, and that so sad, a sad thing for me to see Jimmy Fallon do. I like Jimmy Fallon a lot. I don't like his interviews. I never liked his interviews. He laughs at everything, and he's not a great interviewer, but his skits are the best. But Jimmy Fallon, I guess, was forced to give this lame apology on air or on his show. I think and it showed that, and it was so embarrassing of how. I mean, that is the moment he lost his. He might as well have, had his testicles cut off that day. It felt like I was just so sad. But anyways, I wanted to talk about Johnny Carson had a similar incident. This goes back to the 60s, 1968 or 60, maybe 67. It was when Jim Garrison was getting ready for trial, to bring Clay Shaw to trial for the assassination of President Kennedy, and it was so obvious from this that Johnny Carson was assigned. He didn't give it was kind of the opposite case. He had the assignment from the get-go to discredit Jim Garrison, kind of like Trump, and to make him look as bad as possible, and to sway the American public to trust the Warren Commission's findings, right? And it was so sad because it was so sad from the standpoint that Johnny Carson lowered himself to that level because Jim Garrison had the whole audience on his side, and it was so fantastic. I think you can still watch it on YouTube. If I think about half of it is just audio only, and half of it is audio and video. But check it out if you want. But it's the moment, and I love Johnny Carson, and I thought he was a great interviewer and funny. But he lowered himself to this, and he succumbed to the pressure of his employer to keep his job, I guess, as did Jimmy Fallon, and it was sad, a sad day for America. But then just very quickly, let's see, should I talk about the other? I was just had a list of all the. Let me just go through this list of all the late night TV hosts that. So John Oliver, never watched him. Do not like the guy. I've seen a clip or two of him trashing Trump. For whatever, I do not like the guy. Jon Stewart. He's a guy that's actually funny. His instincts are very funny, but politically I don't agree with him on anything. But he actually is humorous. Has some nice comedic instincts. Greg Gutfeld, love him on Fox News. The funniest guy on late night right now. And the reason is the lefties have let their politics kill their comedy. And it's just a sad, sad thing. But Greg Gutfeld is so great because he speaks his mind. He's so irreverent and he's so funny. Conan O'Brien. I mean, he's not doing late night anymore, but I love Conan. He's so funny, especially in the later years where he kind of reinvented himself and had these little office videos with his what's the guy, Jordan Schlansky. Oh man, what's that guy? And then their little overseas trips, Korea and Japan and Israel are so funny. Conan is a genius, and it shows. His writing on The Simpsons was fantastic. Oh, the other night I watched a video of him giving a graduation speech at Dartmouth University, an Ivy League school. I think it was from about 10 years ago, but it was about a year or two after he had the little thing with about the Tonight Show and Jay Leno and all that stuff. But it's about I don't know, 30-minute speech maybe, but about 25 minutes he's just laugh after laugh after laugh, and then he gives some really good advice to these college kids in the last 5 minutes. And he talks about his failures and how it gave him the opportunity to reinvent himself, and was kind of, I don't know, it catapulted him. It was a trial that turned into a blessing. Okay. Let's see, we talked about Jimmy Fallon. Dave Letterman. I loved Dave Letterman. In his old days, he got a little cantankerous. But I remember one time, the first time I never watched that much of Dave Letterman, but then, I don't know, a couple decades ago, it was around Christmas time, and I, at a bookstore, ran across one of his top 10 list books, and I was crying because I was laughing so hard in the bookstore. I just couldn't stop reading them, and I found them so funny. I love those, but I love Dave's comedic instincts. Again, I don't think I would agree with hardly any of these people's politics, but, and I talked about Jay Leno. Boy, I was never a huge fan of him. Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert is a sad, sad situation. His hatred for Trump has ruined his comedy. He's not funny. I cannot stand to watch the guy, but comedically, he has some great comedic instincts. These things like Billy Joel and James Taylor, I have them on the show, and they'll rewrite some of the lyrics of their most famous songs, and they are hilarious. Stephen Colbert, and his politics, I just cannot. He has let his hatred for President Trump just ruin him. James Corden, I haven't watched his. I don't think he has a show anymore, but I did like his singing in cars with celebrities or something like that. I do find him funny. He is funny. Craig Ferguson, I watched very little. I don't really have any complaints against him. I find him. I've seen clips. I don't think I've ever watched the show, but I've seen a few clips, and I find him mildly amusing. Bill Maher. Here's another one. I think he's got not. I guess he started as a comedian, but is politically incorrect or whatever that show was. Actually, I think he's got some comedic, good comedic instincts. He's a great interviewer. He's a great interviewer, by the way. And Dave Rubin, the gay conservative guy, that I actually like that guy. He is trying to convert Bill Maher to conservatism, and he claims he's almost got him, but Bill Maher will actually speak against the left, call them out for their insanity. He claims he's a lefty, and he's never changed. His party moved away from him, but he would probably agree with most Republican ideas, but he's too proud to change over. But Dave Rubin's working on him. Seth Meyers, I've only seen some clips, but the guy, I don't think I've laughed at anything he's ever said. I don't find him funny at all. Trevor Noah is listed on that list. I've never seen his show. I've seen clips. I don't think I've laughed at anything he's ever said. But anyways, that's 12 minutes. So that's just a quick comparison of late night TV hosts and my thoughts on them. Thank you much for listening. Again, Conan's not doing it anymore, but he was like hands down well, Greg Gutfeld, I find him funny, plus the content he does politically. It's all political content, mostly political content, and he's the only one that is speaking the truth on so many things, but he does it in such a funny way. I just find him very hilarious. And no wonder he wrote a book called The King of Late Night. I guess he got some award or some notoriety, recognized as the King of Late Night, and I would have to agree. He is so funny. But anyways, my wife doesn't understand it, or doesn't get that kind of humor. But I find it very funny. But anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.